And not only did Sommers block it, because we see it, I even compared the Haki. He's using a lot of, I'm gonna say around the same level he did with Albert too, maybe even more, because he probably has more mastery over it. And then not only Sommers block it, no problem. He overpowered Zoro, knocking him not only back, he got thrown back.
It's the same attack, as Lawrence stated, that was used to defeat King. And it's even the namesake of the monster's one-shot featuring Ryuma. And Sommers blocked it. To me, that's a huge statement. It immediately suggests that Sommers is currently operating above the level of a typical first commander, at least King. My first question was very simple, though. How?
So Oda's trying to demonstrate the buff these knights have gotten now that Imu's here and he gave us these omens. They didn't mention these weapons before, and now with the omen, does it proof their strength too? And does it give them access to these ancient weapons as well? Because remember, Sommers was using his ability a lot more with these spiked thorns. I didn't see him whip out this blade. But now, since he has the omens with Imu, now they're whipping out these specialized weapons. And is that because Imu's omen has granted them to that? Because the way Sommers worded it, they've always had these weapons. This is what was gifted to us by Imu. But I wonder if there's like a restriction of when they can use it, like under only Omen or why. So I wonder like what's going on here. We'll also bring out that buff though too, because I don't know if anyone caught on. I'm sure everyone did. This is the same finishing move that Zoro used against Albert. Take him out. And remember, that move also cut through blackened blade Albert was using and his Lunarian stuff. So we know that Lunarian under fire, they're like, they're invincible, but it doesn't make like they're completely vulnerable underneath the non-fire. They're still strong because we saw Albert take multiple attacks from Zoro. Fine. He barely even reacted to those attacks. But we see with that, how much it got taken out that it ended him. And not only did Sommers block it, because we see it, I even compared the Haki. He's using a lot of, I'm going to say around the same level he did with Albert too, maybe even more, because he probably has more mastery over it. And then not only Sommers block it, no problem. He overpowered Zoro, knocking him not only back, he got thrown back to the floor, showing the superpower that this Ami that they got from Imu was able to overpower Zoro's finishing move at this time to knock on the floor, showing the super Sommers that he is. That Zoro's even like, oh, shoot. Like, Zoro wasn't expecting it. And Sommers is giving this explanation to him. Like, okay. Strangely enough, though, I do gotta admit, why Zoro still doesn't have his headband on, don't know. Take this seriously, Zoro. You're gonna come at Luffy for stuff like this? I'm just saying do the same. I know the headband doesn't, I would say, make him stronger, but it kind of locks him in and makes him focus more. Because someone even called him out, was the headband grant you anything? And Zoro was like, no, it doesn't. But it locks him on to a focus mode where it brings him to a more tapped in level than him just fighting the regular form. So it's like, Zoro, take this fight more seriously. Essentially, you're going to come at Luffy for not taking stuff seriously. But I was impressed that Sommers was able to do it with this attack that Albert did and blocking him back very easily, too.
I had the same reaction Lawrence did when Zoro straight up whipped out what seemingly to this point in time is his strongest or at least second strongest attack to date. I think most people would probably still say Ashura was stronger, I guess. I don't know. But like Sommers, I was talking all types of greasy on Sommers and how he don't look as strong and this and that. My man not only blocked it, like Lawrence said, he pushed Zoro back while he decided to give his old expose on the history of swords and stuff. I was like, all right, Sommers, shout out to you. I mean, you ain't really like this. This is really Imu's power that you're using, but shout out to you. I love that. But yeah, I wasn't expecting Zoro to get, 100 Mercies blocked, Dragon Damnations blocked, and then tossed back. I wasn't expecting that. And I don't think Zoro was either, Lawrence, which is probably why he used the attack / doesn't have his headband on. But that's probably going to change soon. But Sommers' dialogue really did open up a lot. I was hyped because I had my little mini, are all these blades part of the Ancient 20, Ancient 19 or whatever? So I was like really hyped about that. But it mainly made me think a lot about a few different options here. It made me think of Sanji and Zoro and their position here. Obviously, typically fight the second and third strongest people in the enemy group. But in this specific situation, I love it because they're fighting seemingly a sword and a spear of God. And I like that because they have always been positioned to be the sword and spear of Luffy for his Pirate King journey. So I really did like that as a revelation that like killing him has this and that Sommers has that. I really messed with that. People were asking in the chat as to whether or not we thought Zoro would get one of these blades. I don't think that's the case. I think what we will see, though, is Zoro cut through and break the Graham sword for the Shepherd family. And whether or not that'll be the first time that's happened in the history of this thing, I don't know. Whether or not it'll be the first time in a long time that has happened, I don't know. But I think that's going to be how Zoro showcases his dominance in this fight and showcases how strong he actually is or can be by the end of this exchange with Sommers. I don't think he's going to get any of these blades. I think these are the swords that Zoro's going to have for the foreseeable future. Maybe he has Yoru. I still don't think he'll have Yoru, but I know people have argued that in the past. I don't know. I think that's where Zoro goes there. I just think it is more important for Zoro to do that to showcase his strength than it is for Sanji to do it, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning. Mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm shining so bright, so bright. Don't come and try to share some of this light now. Give me a beat and I control it like a maestro. Ladies on a mission, they be trying to get me wiped up. Shawty, wait a minute, can't tell if I like ya. Gotta make sure you know how to shake it like a bartender. Team with me and they all winners. And you know we ballin' all winner.
I want to talk about Zoro versus Sommers. I'm a Haki guy. I love Haki. Everybody knows this. It's one of my favorite power systems because even this deep into the story, it's incredibly mysterious. So when I saw Zoro use one of the King of Hell attacks against Sommers, I genuinely expected Zoro to win the clash. Instead, Sommers stopped it cold. From everything we've seen, from everything I've researched, Zoro's King of Hell 3-sword style attacks are infused with regular armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki, not the advanced armament Haki, okay? That's different. This is the pinnacle of Zoro's Haki arsenal. It's the same attack, as Lawrence stated, that was used to defeat King. And it's even the namesake of the monster's one-shot featuring Ryuma. And Sommers blocked it. To me, that's a huge statement. It immediately suggests that Sommers is currently operating above the level of a typical first commander, at least King. My first question was very simple, though. How? Like, how?
Hey,
Man, every time we've seen Sommers face someone using overwhelming Conqueror's Haki, whether it was Rayleigh back at God Valley, Gyaban when they fought on Branch 8, or even Loki when he turned into his Nidhogg form, he's never been able to simply overpower them with his own Haki. And throughout the series, the strongest fighters have consistently shown that to contend with top-tier Conqueror's Haki users, you generally need Conqueror's Haki yourself. Otherwise, you're at a disadvantage. As Garp pointed out during the battle against Rocks, overwhelming Haki can completely determine the outcome of a clash. As far as we know, Sommers isn't a conqueror. That leads me to believe that Omen is compensating for the power Sommers himself lacks, right? That just makes sense. Somehow, Omen is allowing him to withstand or even overpower an attack infused with armament and Conqueror's Haki. Right now, I have about three theories. The first is that Omen allows its user to temporarily borrow a portion of Imu's Conqueror's Haki. Here's why I think that. If Omen is ultimately a Devil Fruit ability, we already know that sufficiently powerful Haki can suppress or overpower Devil Fruit powers. Under normal circumstances, if Sommers simply infused his own Haki into Omen, Zoro's stronger Haki should have overwhelmed him still. Instead, the opposite happened. So how? That's why I'm leaning toward the possibility that Sommers isn't relying solely on his own Haki. He may actually be wielding Imu's Haki through Omen. If that's true, then Sommers himself isn't a true conqueror. He's more like an interim conqueror. I think I said that right. Temporarily empowered by Imu. That theory also brings me back to something I think we've discussed a long time ago. What if the Gorosei aren't natural conquerors either? Because they depend on the power that Imu provides them the same way Sommers and Killingham does too. So that would explain how they can go toe-to-toe with some of the strongest Haki users in the world despite never being explicitly confirmed as conquerors themselves. Now, my second theory revolves around Sommers' weapon, Gram. We're told that Graham is one of the legendary family weapons passed down since the Ancient Alliance. I'll dive much deeper into these like weapons in a moment, but I'll say this for now. If Graham possesses a unique ability, enchantment, inherited will, or some other special property, and Omen is amplifying those abilities, then we could be watching the power structure of One Piece evolve in real time. That would completely change how we evaluate strength moving forward. The third one I don't have just yet, but it's going to get crazy when I get to these weapons part, bro. I'm so excited to talk about this.